Dhammaya Sanghaya. Om Namo 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 Amitabhaye. Om Namo 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 Amitabhaye. Om Namo Amitabhaye. Buddhaya Dhammaya Sanghaya. Om Namo Amitabhaye. Buddhaya Dhammaya Sanghaya. Om Namo 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 Amitabhaye. Om Namo 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 Amitabhaye. Om Namo Amitabhaye. Buddhaya Dhammaya Sanghaya. Welcome, my friends. Welcome, beloveds. Welcome to Summer Solstice Yoni Church. I'm so excited to be here with you. And I just was started with that little chant because I wanted to offer it as something that you can watch this replay and study and learn and make that chant your own. It's a chant to Amitabhaye, who is the happy Buddha, right? That beautiful, laughing, happy Buddha. And you're calling in that love and that happiness when you sing that chant to the self, to the Buddha within, to the Sangha, which is the community, and to the Dharma, which is to your path. So Om Namo Amitabhaye Buddhaya Dhammaya Sanghaya. And as you call in that prayer and that love for all beings on all levels, you get that love back. So it's a very beautiful, magical chant. I've actually moved proverbial mountains with it before. So you can really use it as a source and as a tool to shift energy in your life. If you're ever feeling like you're just in a funk, just sing that chant for a day and your funk will disappear. So I'm going to bless myself with some sacred water from the well of St. Bridget in Ireland as we prepare for our sacred ceremony and our time together today in Yoni Church. And I just ask that you do the same. Just start to bless yourself with some sacred breath. Allow yourself to drop into a deep, deep release of your exhale. And as you inhale, filling your body to full capacity, bringing in a new sense of energy and oxygen to your body. And also ask that these elements of the air from the east, the fire from the south, the water from the west, and the earth from the north, as well as those extra Chinese medicine elements of metal and wood. Ask that all these elements and all the medicine that they bring to our lives and to our bodies come into sacred ceremony with us today. And let's call forth your two highest guides, the two guides who are really large and in charge of your physical well-being and large and in charge of your mental and spiritual well-being. Ask that these two guides come together in union to support you as you bring the two sides of yourself into greater union, the dark and the light. So we're really working with the dark and the light today. This is summer solstice, and what an incredible period of time we are finding ourselves in right now. I mean, it's just incredibly prolific. So today we're going to talk about the eclipse portal that we're right in the middle of. And when I say eclipse portal, I mean we're going through 3 eclipses in a row. So we're going through a little tunnel here. And whether it's a tunnel of love or a tunnel of fear is really up to you. We'll talk more about that. And then I want to highlight for you the medicine that fire brings and the medicine that water brings and how they can clash and how they can really nurture each other and be a support for each other. So we'll talk about all of that as we get deeper into Yoni Church together today. And we're also going to create a sacred ceremony together where we do a little bit more internal work together, and then we'll kind of figure out where is that dark inside of us and where is that light inside of us. And then what we'll do is we'll do a hand fasting ceremony, because summer solstice is, in the Celtic tradition, it's one of these beautiful times where marriage happens, where union happens. And so, traditionally when two people come together for hand fasting, they put their pulses right here, that is directly connected to the heart, right? So they put their pulses right on top of each other. And we won't be able to do that since there's just a single person. We're going to do our hand fasting a little different. I got a little creative on this one. So we're going to have fun, and we're actually going to do some fun mudra hand fasting with ourselves to marry the dark and the light within. So we're going to have a good time, and I'm excited you all are here. It's so fun to see so many of you live, a lot of my girlfriends. Hi, girlfriends. So fun to be with you. And let's start with this word solstice. It is actually the Latin root of it means the sun stands still. So it's the longest day of the year. It's coming up on June 21st. It's going to be quite a special event, as we have an eclipse happening that same day. And not just any eclipse, but an annular solar eclipse, not to be confused with an annular solar eclipse, but an annular solar eclipse is really, that word annulus means a ring of fire, a ring of gold. So what happens during this kind of eclipse is that the moon is furthest away from the earth, opposite of a blue moon where it's closest to the earth. The moon is furthest away from the earth, so when it goes across the sun, it makes this sort of glowing ring around the sun. So how perfect, a ring of fire. And we're going to do a marriage ceremony with ourselves, bring that ring of fire into our lives and union. And if you got the email or the invite that I sent out, you may not know, but I've done birth work for many, many years. And every single time a woman gets to that stage in delivery, that moment that we call the ring of fire, where the baby is actually coming out, it's like, it's happening. The baby's crowning, the woman is in just she's definitely out of her mind. She's in her body 100%. And in that moment, it's really challenging. It's the moment where the mom will start to say, I want that epidural now, or I want out of here. Forget this. I'm going home. Like, I don't need a baby. This is way too much. It's that moment where you feel like you can't handle it anymore. So during that ring of fire, during that moment, that's kind of what we're in collectively here right now. We're seeing so much change collectively, so much shifting on our planet, so much opportunity to move into fear or to stand in conviction in love. There's so many opportunities to get derailed and to get distracted and to start to go down that downward spiral of worry and stress and anxiety. And what I invite you to do is the opposite. I invite you to get stronger inside of yourself, more centered, and know yourself even better than you did before as you go through this tunnel, through this portal of eclipses. So let's talk a little bit about these eclipses. The annular solar eclipse that's happening on June 21st is only going to be seen from the eastern side of the planet. So we won't be able to see it. If you're here in the west, we won't be able to see it, but it will still be there. The energy of it will still be large and in charge. And, anytime we go through an eclipse portal, basically, or really any eclipse, even if it's a single eclipse, we're really being shaken. It's almost like we're going through the washing machine. Anyone feel like things have been a little chaotic and I don't know if I'm standing over here or over there? That's really what eclipses are about. They get you into the washing machine. You feel like you're churning about, tumbling and rolling about, and you don't know which way is up. and the whole point of that is to cleanse you of things you no longer need, right? So it's really about stepping into trusting the unknown, and not needing to get answers at this point in time, especially because on top of these eclipses, we've got 5 planets in retrograde. And I'm not an astrologer, but I do love astrology, and I think it's fantastic. So if you want someone to read, go check out Susan Miller. She's a gem. So these eclipses really demand change on both an individual level and on a societal level, which is so exactly what we're going through right now. We're going through the Ring of Fire. There's no turning back. It's uncomfortable as hell. We want to go back to the old way, but it's just not an option anymore. We can't get the epidural. We can't go home. We have to go through. The only way through is to go through. So the question is, how are you going to go through? You're going to go through, but how are you going to do it? And another sort of image for these eclipses, especially 3 in a row, it's kind of like all this dust is in the air, right? All this stuff is in the air, so you can't really see what's truth and what's an illusion. It's difficult to discern right now. So if you're having a hard time discerning what's nourishing for you and what's toxic for you, then you're right where you should be. It's what's happening right now. And we're going to talk more about how you can use that element of discernment and take hold of the fire inside of you and step more fully into your sovereign discernment in life. So it's just a time where your truth is being super highlighted. So for those of you who are really feeling like your soul is calling you to do something else, my soul is definitely calling me to travel, right? But of course, travel is not available right now. And so when your soul is really calling you to do something else during an eclipse portal, it feels strong. It feels huge. It feels like you have to do it. And it's not exactly the right time to do it, but it's the right time to get clear about how you're going to do it. What ducks do you need to get set in a row in order to be successful with the thing that your soul is really calling for you to step into? So we just had that first eclipse was on June 5th, and that was a full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign, so things got churned up and fire was ignited. We saw that. We saw that in the world. We saw that with marches and riots. We saw that all over with the systemic racism that everyone is now collectively looking at, thank God. And that first eclipse was just like, okay, humanity, okay, Earth, here we go. You got to look at this, right? And it just lit that stage on fire, and everyone kind of got frantic, and it got a little cuckoo. We can feel now that things are starting to, and also we're moving toward that ring of fire from June 5th until June 21st, moving toward that ring of fire. So there's this feeling of like, oh, wow, the big stuff is still yet to come, right? And on June 21st, that we're not only is the sun going to be in Cancer, which is a water sign, so we're going to get a little cooling opposite of the fire, but also the moon will be in Cancer. So we got a lot of water coming in on this June 21st eclipse, this annular solar eclipse. And water is really there to, balance. It's the yin side. We've got fire as the yang, and water is the yin, and water is that element that, always takes the path of least resistance. It's extremely adaptable. It can turn into a solid, liquid, or gas, and it's that more fluid flowing element. So we can really draw on that element as we move toward this time, which is only a few days away. So it's really, this eclipse coming up is an opportunity to really let that soul's desire come to the forefront, to really get clear on it. Write down, what are your goals? How do you want those goals to manifest? It's a time where you get to question your old habits and your old behaviors. So eclipses are a bit of a review time, plus all the planets in retrograde. We're in deep review. What's working? What's not working? Why do I keep attracting that same kind of partner? Why do I keep getting fired from my job over and over again? Why do I keep having the same health issues again and again? Those patterns, we want to take those patterns and we want to really dissect them and look at them and review where we are creating them and where we might learn how to create the opposite of them. So after June 21st, then on July 5th, we're going to have our third eclipse, right? And thank God the third one is going to be in Capricorn. So we're going to have some earth, right? We're going to have some grounding to all this yang and yin energy. And so that full moon eclipse on the July 5th will be interesting for the United States because it's right around the birth date of the United States, July 4th. And, relationship challenges are likely to come up. If they haven't already, they are likely to come up. So when you start to feel impatient or frustrated or unsure or in a state of doubt or confusion, or if shame is taking over you, these are all shadow emotions, and they're really valuable to look at. They're really important. There's a lot of gold in there. You just got to dig a little bit to see that gold. But when you bring those shadows to the light, then you really, you get to step into a more understanding place. And from that place of deep understanding comes compassion, comes acceptance, and that heart medicine of just being with what is rather than trying to make things other than what they are. You can still work toward a goal and change your life, of course, but when you're doing it from a place of resistance rather than from a place of acceptance, it's a totally different ball game. So we want to start to step into that light of acceptance. Now let's talk a little bit more about fire and water. Let's talk about fire first, because things have been fiery. So when fire is out of balance, as it has been in our world for a very, very long time, for eons, it's been out of balance. Fire is out of balance. It makes you want things it makes you want things to be other than the way that they are. So there's this deep lack of acceptance, a deep sense of disappointment, or not being seen or not being appreciated, and that's been a huge thing in our culture for a long time. Always wanting things to be other than the way that they are, wanting to have this product or that kind of cell phone or that kind of vehicle or that kind of thing in order to feed the yin, in order to make the feminine, which is going to be that water element, that feminine body feel satiated, right? What the yin really wants, what that water element really wants, is to be felt, is to be received in pleasure, right? To be let the senses take over. When you get into the ocean or when you get into a warm bath, it's like sensation takes over and your mind just takes a little vacay for a moment. And that's what the yin is calling us to do, is to step more inside of ourselves into the feeling rather than, have I got this done? Have I got that thing? Am I okay? All the checklist stuff. So, if you ask yourself, what kind of world have we been living in? Have we been living in a more yang environment for the last however many thousands of years? Or have we been living in a more yin environment for the last thousands of years? Obviously, we've been living in a yang environment where production and goal setting and getting all these things done is highly, highly valued. And it doesn't mean that those things aren't valuable. They absolutely are valuable and we need them. But what's not been valued is, if you said to your friend, oh yeah, what did you do today? And your friend said, oh, I just I took a nap and I read my book and I went for a walk and, I jumped in the ocean and I just, I listened to my body, what it wanted to eat for lunch and just really took a day, you wouldn't be like, oh, good for you. Or you wouldn't normally hear that. Maybe some of you on here would, but most people would be like, oh, so you didn't get anything done. Not a productive day. Oh, well, too bad for you, right? And so what we want to start to do is value that yin side of life, value slowing down, taking a rest, easing into the moment, and really feeling what your body wants, starting to really listen to the body to the point of like, okay, my stomach is full. I'm going to stop eating for at least 5 minutes before I finish this plate of food. So it goes really deep into the matter. Matter is mother, the yin, the body. So we're very much obsessed with matter, right? We're obsessed with things and physical things. And that's because we're not getting the deep nourishment that we need on a spiritual and soulful level. And only you can give yourself that. So when water is in balance, then emotions are in balance. Hormones follow emotions, so your hormones are going to fall into place, right? All of the glands in your system, which are connected to all the chakras in your system, are going to be lit up and feeling the chi of life, feeling the energy of life. And from there, you have so much more access to yourself. You have so much more capacity to experience the world around you rather than feeling like overwhelmed, stressed out, it's too much, and the littlest thing is going to throw me for a loop. So we want to resource from within. Make sure you're getting at least 8 glasses of water a day. It's hard to drink that much water, but it makes a huge difference in how you feel in your emotional being and body. So the other part of water that when it's in balance is your sexuality. And sexuality is the root of life. It's where we all come from. It's the essence of life. And so when you've got water in balance, you've got your sexual essence and energy in balance, which means that you've got more availability or more capacity to experience your sexual energy, whether you are holding a hand with a friend, could be a boyfriend, could be a girlfriend, petting your puppy, or smelling something delicious, or having an actual orgasm. Whatever you're doing, you're going to have more capacity to feel it. So we really want to bring this yin and yang together inside of ourselves to find that oneness and that unity. So let's go ahead and start to move toward that. The other thing, we've been in before we go into our ceremony, we've been in such a yang dominant society for so long, and believe me, I get way lost in it too. I'm a driven woman, right? I got a lot of shit to do all the time, so I can fall fast down the yang track, but I know really well how to get myself back into yin, and I can do it in a single breath. And that's what the practice is about, is being able to come back to what's true, what's real, and what's important in this moment. What can you receive right here in this moment? So there's some words that I want to highlight for us for stepping into the yin. And there's 3 P's and there's 3 R's. So if you want to jot them down, you can. The first P is going to be presence. And one of the most powerful ways I know of to get into presence is through your senses. So you can just choose one. For me, it's the sound. If I just stop and listen. And when I'm truly, truly listening, I can hear the neighbors talking, can hear the birds chirping. When I'm truly, truly listening, I'm not anywhere else. I'm just right there hearing that. For some of you, it might be smell. For some of you, it might be taste. So take one of your senses, use it as a doorway to come right into presence. And practice presence, especially through this portal, because if you're practicing presence while we're going through the eclipse portal, you're going to come out really good at it. Because it's hard to be present during an eclipse portal. There's a lot of distractions. Washing machine. And the next P word is process. So right? Are you going through the process of life so that you can come out with some kind of product? I mean, I get guilty of that for sure. Or are you going through the process of life because it's pleasurable, right? And so when you're going through the process of something, like for example, I'm writing a book right now, which is a big undertaking, but as I'm writing it, I really love it. I have so much fun. It feels like so much pleasure is coming to me when I write it. And also there is an end goal and an end idea with a product in mind. But it's a fine line, because if I switch gears to be like, oh, I got to get this done, I got to get this product finished, then it's not a fun, pleasurable experience anymore. So if I stay on the other side of that line and really stay with the pleasure of my process, then I'm being more in my yin. I'm doing the same exact thing, but it's just how I'm experiencing it. And the next keyword is paradox. I love this word because, paradox brings up so many things, but really it's, the biggest yeses in life sometimes are the biggest no's. And the biggest no's in life are sometimes the biggest yeses. So therein lies the discernment. And discernment is really a medicine that comes from the fire element. In Chinese medicine, the fire element holds the heart and holds the small intestine. And the small intestine is the one who separates the pure from the impure. The small intestine is the one who says, this is nourishing, this is toxic. I'll choose the nourishing one. And so the small intestine is the discerner. So small intestine and heart seems like an odd pair, right? Under the fire element. But when the small intestine is discerning well, then the heart gets the nourishment it needs. If you think about like, this person in my life is toxic, this person in my life is nourishing, I'm going to let that toxic person go, send them to the colon, send them to the waste, and get rid of them. And then all that's left is that nourishing person that you spend your time with. So that's the discernment that the small intestine brings to your body, that fire element brings to your body, and then really you can burn the things that aren't nourishing, burn the things that are toxic or causing you to go into a downward spiral. You just put them in the fire transmutes them, turns them into earth, right? Turns them into ash. And then you can plant a garden with that earth. So it's really a beautiful alchemical process that you get access to all the time. It's inside of you. It's awesome. So the 3 R's for stepping more into the yin. This is how we're going to bring balance into the world. We've been in yang, 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 yang mode. The yin has been suppressed, right? And that's where part of what systemic racism is about. It's what sexism is about. It's what so many of these problems that we're facing in the world are about. And so the antidote is to just bring more yin. We don't have to push the yang out. The yang's not bad. We like the yang. We like the masculine. We like the structure. We want to keep that. But we want to bring that yin in as well so that it's balanced, right? So that there's a sense of union and equanimity between the two. And only you can do that for yourself inside of your own life. But when you do it for yourself, it starts to ripple out into the world. And when it's really aligned inside of you, the world around you shows you that reflection back. So that's what we are all about. And so let's look at the 3 R's for bringing more yin. The 3 P's again were presence, process, and paradox. Watching that paradox. You don't always know that if something is a no, like you have this opportunity, you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do that. That sounds pretty bad. Not sure, but you go ahead and you do it. It turns into a beautiful, glorious experience. That is that paradox that you want to just be more trusting of in the initiate of it, in the beginning moments of it. And then the 3 R's are going to be receptivity, right? That's yin's biggest gift. That's yin's biggest power. That's the feminine's biggest opportunity for growth, is to be in receptivity. So how are you receiving the people in your life, the nature in your life, the food you're eating. Are you receiving it? Are you receiving the smells? Are you receiving the sun? Are you able to really receive? And in order to receive something, you have to be really present, right? I can't receive this gift, tomorrow when I'm not here in my house to receive it. I can only receive it right now. I can only receive this gift of being with you all right now because we're here together now. And the next R is reflection, right? So to really know yourself, to go in and reflect, to do journaling work, to do the ceremony we're about to do, that is very much stepping into the yin, that deep reflective work. And knowing yourself is knowing God. So that's Ishvara Pranidhana. That's one of the yoga sutras, right? Really powerful. And some of the yogis out there say it's the only one you really need to do. You just surrender to what's true for you and really know your truth. When you are there, your truth moves through you. You're no longer moving through your life and trying to make things happen. Life is then taking over and moving through you. And it's a lot less effortful. It's a lot less cumbersome. It's a lot less challenging. And it's this deep, beautiful opportunity to just be in tune with the divine. And the next word is going to be resonance, right? So does something resonate with you? Do you resonate with it? How well are you resonating with your heart? How well are you resonating with your yoni? Are you getting a deep resonance with your own physical body? And then is that resonance transferring into the world around you? If you're not resonating with someone, can you either flip the switch and figure out a way to meet them and resonate with them, understand them, have compassion for them, bring that fire, heart medicine in? Or can you, move away from them if they don't resonate with you? So those are just some more ways to step into the feminine. Now let's move into our ceremony today. Let's do some internal work together today. So I'm going to invite you into a state of presence. So I just want you to lengthen up through your spine. Feel the crown of the head lift toward the heavens. Allow your exhale to lengthen twice as long as your inhale. Allow your forehead to soften. Feel your frontal lobe of your brain drop back toward the center of your brain. Relax the crown of the head. There's a point at the crown chakra called Bai Hui, means heavenly gate. So as that heavenly gate point softens and spreads, allow heavenly energy to filter down in through your crown chakra and light you up from the inside out. Feel your temples soften and spread. And feel these points right behind your earlobes that connect into your jaw. Feel those soften and spread. The jaw releases. Let the shoulders start to glide down the back. Now I want you to ask yourself, what's something in your life that's really been getting your goat? It's got your panties in a bunch. It's been really a fiery situation for you in your life. I want you to bring that up to top of the mind. And just notice, where in your body do you feel that thing, that situation or that relationship? Or whatever it is, just notice where you feel it in your body. And you might notice that sometimes there's more sensation for this over on the right side, which is the masculine side or the yang side. Not always. Sometimes it's just there's energy more toward the top of the body. You can feel sensation in the head or the neck or the shoulders, and that's also that yang side of the body as opposed to the bottom half of the body. Notice what it feels like. What's the sensation of it? Is it sharp or dull and achy? Is it diffuse or is it pinpoint? And stay with this sensation and feeling. Now, being so tuned into this sensation, this feeling, and where it's at in your body, I want you to see if you can find access to the opposite of that sensation or feeling. You might have to distill that sensation or feeling down to one word. And then from that one word, what's the opposite of that word? Now, where in your body are you feeling the opposite? Where are you feeling that other word, that more yin, that more watery word in your body? And now I want you to choose a chakra. Just listen to each one of the chakras in your body. One of these chakras in your body, one of these chakras at the center of your body is going to hold space for the marriage, for the union of these two polar opposites inside of you. So which chakra is it for you? Is it your heart? Is it your throat? Is it your solar plexus, second chakra, first chakra, crown, third eye? Where do you feel that this union wants to take place inside of your body? And now just imagine that you're in your most pure state. You're just in that absolute witness state. No judgment, no preferences, no opinions. You're just there to be a witness of these two different parts of yourself. You're in your officiant costume. Notice what you look like. You're standing there about 2 inches high inside of that chakra. And you're there ready to witness the union of these two polar opposites of yourself. And then ask that fiery or that heated, that part of you that was consciously knowing that this thing in your life or this person in your life has been challenging, right? Ask that challenging aspect to come into that chakra. And now ask that watery element, that opposite of the fire, that more soft and feminine side of you. All these are parts of you to come into that chakra. And as the officiant, ask that these two parts of yourself come close together and stand face to face in sacred union. Ask that they really see each other, that they really begin to honor each other and the value that each one of them brings as a separate entity. And as the officiant, now ask them to bring their hands together in that hand fasting position. And just as the officiant, you're going to place your hands over their hands, now containing them in this state of union, this state of connection, this state of softly seeing and honoring each other being able to acknowledge the gifts that each one brings. And as these hands are now being set in a state of connection, in a state of union, in a state of marriage with each other, allow that these two, just ask inside of yourself, I ask that these two parts of myself really get to be friends and really get to be more supportive to one another instead of always in opposition. That they may bring more understanding and more light to each other. In every breath that you take, in every heartbeat that moves through your body. And now I'll ask you to bring your hands into this Yoni Mudra, which is basically where you bring your 3 lower fingers. You're going to open your hands like so. You're going to bring your 3 lower fingers together. Touch those fingertips together. And then bring your thumb and forefingers to touch. Then when you look down at that, when you look down, you can see that you're creating a beautiful heart shape with a little yoni. So there's a few different yoni mudras. We're going to go through all of them. But let's start here with this one. And then bring that yoni mudra to whatever chakra you have been working with. So this is our hand fasting for those 2 sides of the self. And I'll read a prayer from the late Shakti Malan as these 2 sides of the self come together. Mother, Father, God, Essence, Great Spirit, all that is, I pull back my projections and recognize these polarized states that exist in my ego patterning. I offer them up and ask that they be merged into a place of oneness and clarity, so that I may see more clearly who I really am, and so that I may live my highest truth. I ask this with gratitude, knowing that my prayer has already been answered. And just allow this beautiful integration to occur inside of that chakra. Feel the sensation in that chakra shift and change as this melding happens within it. And as you breathe in, just allow that transition and change in that chakra to happen all throughout your entire body, through every cell in your body. And because the ego mind tends to live right up here at the forehead, right in the third eye, darn it, right where we should be dropping into our intuition and inner knowing, the ego gets in the way. I notice the ego lives in the frontal lobe. You might notice something different, but that's my experience. So we're going to do Yoni Mudra, which is the second Yoni Mudra that I'm going to teach you. Number 1 was like this. And number 2 is actually putting your hands on your head. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of put that ego into the washing machine and wash it all out, so that the patternings that have been happening in your life, maybe since the beginning of your life until now, can just get so shaken up and shifted around that they don't know how to come back together again. And what does come back together again is this union of masculine and feminine inside of yourself. So to do Yoni Mudra, you're going to take your thumb and you're going to place it on your ear, and you're going to close off the ear. So we're closing off all of our senses when we do Yoni Mudra on the head. The forefinger, front finger, is going to go over the eyes. The middle finger is going to be at the nostrils, so we will close off the nostrils at some point. And the ring finger is at the top of the lips, and the pinky finger is at the bottom of the lips. So we're closing the lips with the pinky and the ring. We're closing the nostrils with the middle finger. We're closing the eyes with the pointer finger, and we're closing the ears with the thumb. We're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose, keeping the nostrils open. Hold the breath at the top, close the nostrils, open the nostrils, and make an M sound, like a hum. And it'll sound like bees buzzing in your head. You might get some imagery in your head. You might see some things moving around. Just notice what you see. When you're done with your exhale, take another deep breath in. Hold the nostril closed. Hold for 3 seconds. Now exhale, release the nostrils, and make your M sound. Inhale again, hold the breath at the top, close the nostrils. And exhale with your M sound, buzzing, bees buzzing. Good, one more time on your own. And then release your hands and just notice a sensation, maybe some visions. I always see like a circle right at the third eye, like a full moon at the third eye. You might be seeing something different, just noticing what you're seeing. Noticing the spaciousness in the brain. And now you can come back to that original Yoni Mudra by simply bringing your 3 pinky, ring, and middle fingers to touch. Come back to that original Yoni Mudra and just let it rest in your lap and sit there in sacred space and sacred silence. If you want to check out the second Yoni Mudra, you're going to bring the palms together into a prayer mudra, and then you're just going to cross the ring fingers. How beautiful, crossing those ring fingers over each other. And then you're going to wrap your pointer finger. Your index finger is going to wrap around the little nose of your ring finger. So I'll do that part again. Cross the ring fingers over each other, and then just wrap your pointer fingers around the tip of your ring finger. So that's just one level of this other Yoni Mudra. That might be enough for you. Or if you want to, you can take your pinky fingers and make a little love knot with those. Take those pinky fingers like so. So that's a beautiful Celtic knot right there. Beautiful hand fasting for the inner darkness and the inner light. Or you can take those pinky fingers and you can lengthen them up and close it down with your thumbs on top. So, Yoni Mudra is said to be very beneficial for female reproductive hormones, sexuality, spirituality, emotional balance, whichever mudra you prefer. Just let it be there in your lap for a moment. As you receive the sounds of this song, I'm going to go back to this sacred chant, and we'll close out from there. Om Namo Amitabhaye Buddhaya Dhammaya Sanghaya. Om Namo Amitabhaye Buddhaya Dhammaya Sanghaya. Om Namo Namo, Namo Amitabhaye. Om Namo, Namo, Namo Amitabhaye. Om Namo Amitabhaye. Buddhaya Dhammaya Sanghaya. Om Namo Amitabhaye. Buddhaya Dhammaya Sanghaya. So to the Buddha within, your own spiritual true essence, divine God, Goddess, Mother, Father, Spirit, and Light. To the path that you walk, to the journey that you're on, and to the community, the tribe, the Sangha that supports you on your journey. Offering this union, offering this blessing, this ceremony, and this time that you've spent just reflecting, just receiving, just being in the middle of your process for the sake of pleasure alone, no products at the end. Just here to be in that strong state of yin and to value it. Namaste. Aho. So, my gift to you is that you just let this resonate inside of you, especially as we get closer and closer to this ring of fire, when things start to get uncomfortable. Find your Yoni Mudra and just breathe. Just feel the space around you. Drop into your sense of sound or smell or taste, touch. Drop into one of those senses and find your center once again. Anytime you feel like you're getting churned about or in that washing machine, know that that's appropriate. That's what should be happening. If that's not happening for you, then you're probably not on this planet. So it's normal. And you've got a resource now to come back to. And so with that, I'm sending you all my love and blessings. I will post a link down below if anyone wants to do an introductory session with me. I know things are really challenging right now, and I just want to be in full support. I'm here to help you and to help you get through it. So anyone who's feeling the challenge in a real strong way and wants more one-on-one guidance or support, I got your back. I'm real good at it. So I'll put that link below. And for the rest of you, I send you all my love and blessings. And I will see you at the next Yoni Church, which will be next month in July. So we'll be sending out a notice about that. And we hope to see you there. Much love, everybody.